Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and today we have another exciting and super helpful episode for all English learners around the world. Whether you are just starting your English journey or you have been learning for a while, today's episode is going to help you a lot. So relax, stay focused, and enjoy learning English with us.
Hello, everybody. I'm Julia, and I'm really happy to be here with you again. You know, many beginners feel confused when they start learning English. Some people don't know where to begin. Some people feel shy when speaking, and many learners think English is too difficult. But the truth is, learning English becomes much easier when you follow the right method step by step.
Exactly, Julia. And that's why today's topic is very important. In this episode, we are going to talk about the best step-by-step method for beginners to learn English in a simple, easy, and smart way. We will show you how to start, how to practice every day, and how to improve your confidence slowly and naturally.
Yes. And remember, you do not need perfect English to start speaking. Every fluent English speaker was once a beginner too. The most important thing is to practice daily, stay patient, and never give up on yourself.
That's right. So if you are ready to improve your English step by step and build more confidence every day, then this episode is perfect for you.
Grab your notebook, relax your mind, and let's begin today's English learning journey together.
So, Julia, before we talk about the step-by-step method, I think we should first talk about one very important thing: the biggest problems beginner English learners usually face.
Absolutely, Jason. And honestly, many beginners around the world struggle with the same feelings. Some learners think they are the only ones having difficulties, but that is not true at all. Learning a new language can feel confusing and stressful in the beginning.
Yes, and one of the biggest problems is fear. Many beginners are afraid of speaking English because they think they will make mistakes. They worry that other people might laugh at them or judge their pronunciation.
That's very true. I have seen many learners who know basic English words and grammar, but when it is time to speak, they become nervous and silent. Their mind suddenly goes blank because they are overthinking every sentence.
Exactly. And another common problem is not knowing where to start. Some beginners study grammar for hours. Others try to memorize thousands of vocabulary words. And some people watch very difficult videos that they cannot understand. In the end, they feel tired and disappointed.
Yes, because they are trying to learn everything at the same time. But language learning does not work that way. Beginners need simple steps, simple practice, and simple goals. If you try to climb the whole mountain in one day, you will quickly lose motivation.
That is such a great example, Julia. And, many beginners also compare themselves to fluent speakers. They watch advanced English speakers online and think, my English will never become like that.
But that is a very dangerous mindset. People often forget that fluent speakers were once beginners too. Nobody starts speaking perfect English on the first day. Fluency comes slowly with practice, patience, and daily learning.
Exactly. And another problem is that many learners are too hard on themselves. When they make one small mistake, they feel embarrassed and think they are failing.
But mistakes are actually a normal and important part of learning. Every mistake teaches you something new. If you never make mistakes, you are probably not practicing enough.
That's a powerful point. So if you are listening right now and you sometimes feel shy, confused, or afraid while learning English, please remember this: you are not alone. Millions of beginners feel exactly the same way.
And the good news is this: Once you start following the right method step by step, learning English becomes much easier, more enjoyable, and much less stressful.
Exactly. And in the next part of this episode, we are going to talk about why many beginners fail to improve and what they should do differently to finally make real progress in English. All right, everyone. Now let's talk about another very important topic, why most beginners fail to improve their English even after studying for a long time. Julia, I think this is something many learners really want to understand.
Definitely, Jason. And honestly, the problem is usually not because learners are lazy or not smart enough. Most beginners fail because they are using the wrong learning methods. They work hard, but they are not learning in an effective way.
Exactly. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is focusing only on grammar rules. Of course, grammar is important, but some learners spend months studying grammar books without actually speaking or listening to real English.
Yes, they know many grammar rules in theory, but when somebody asks them a simple question in English, they become nervous and cannot answer naturally. Language is not only about studying rules, it is also about communication and daily practice.
That's so true. And another big mistake is trying to memorize too many vocabulary words at once. Some learners study long vocabulary lists every day, but they never use those words in real conversations.
Exactly. And when you do not use new words regularly, your brain quickly forgets them. It is much better to learn a few useful words and practice them again and again in sentences and conversations.
Another common problem is that beginners do not practice speaking enough. Many people wait for the perfect moment to start speaking English, but that perfect moment never comes.
Yes, and some learners are also afraid of making mistakes, so they stay silent. But speaking is like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger and more confident you become.
And let's not forget this one. Many beginners learn without a daily plan. They study one day, stop for a week, and then start again. That inconsistency makes improvement very slow.
Exactly. Small daily practice is much more powerful than studying for 5 hours one time and then quitting for several days. Consistency is the real secret to improvement.
That's absolutely right. So the good news is this. If beginners stop using these wrong methods and start following a simple step-by-step system, they can improve their English much faster and with much more confidence. All right, everyone. Now we have reached the most important part of today's episode, the step-by-step method for beginners to improve their English in a simple and effective way. Julia, I'm really excited for this part because I think it can help so many learners.
Me too, Jason. And the best thing about this method is that it is simple, practical, and beginner-friendly. You do not need expensive courses or perfect grammar to start improving. You just need the right daily habits and the right mindset. Step 1. Start with simple English.
The first step is very important. Start with simple English. Many beginners make the mistake of trying to learn advanced English too early.
Exactly. Some learners watch difficult movies, read advanced books, or try to memorize complicated vocabulary. Then they feel frustrated because they cannot understand anything.
But beginners should focus on simple and useful English first. Learn daily expressions, common words, and short sentences that people use in real life.
For example, simple sentences like, "How are you? What are you doing? I am learning English. I like this video." These small sentences may look easy, but they help build a strong foundation.
Yes, Remember this: simple English practiced every day is much more powerful than difficult English you never use. Step 2. Listen to English every day.
Now let's move to step number 2. Listen to English every single day.
This step is extremely important because listening trains your brain to understand natural English sounds, pronunciation, and sentence patterns.
Exactly. Many beginners want to speak fluently, but they never spend enough time listening. Before speaking naturally, your brain must first hear English regularly.
You can listen to English podcasts, beginner YouTube videos, simple conversations, or short English stories. Even listening for 15 or 20 minutes every day can make a huge difference.
And don't worry if you cannot understand everything at first. That is completely normal. The goal is to train your ears slowly and naturally. Step 3. Speak without fear.
All right, step number 3 may be the hardest step for many beginners: speak without fear.
Yes, so many learners wait until their English becomes perfect before they start speaking, but perfection is not necessary.
Exactly. If you wait for perfect English, you may never start speaking confidently. The best way to improve speaking is simply to speak more.
You can practice alone at home. Talk to yourself in English. Describe your day, read sentences aloud, or repeat after podcast speakers.
And remember, making mistakes is not failure. Mistakes are proof that you are learning and practicing.
Every fluent English speaker made thousands of mistakes before becoming confident, so do not be ashamed of your mistakes. Learn from them. Step 4. Practice every day.
Now let's talk about step number 4, daily practice.
This is one of the biggest secrets to learning English successfully. You do not need to study for 5 or 6 hours every day.
Exactly. Even practicing for 20 or 30 minutes daily can improve your English faster than studying once a week for many hours.
Consistency is more important than intensity. Small daily habits create big results over time.
For example, you can listen to English in the morning, learn a few new words during the day, and practice speaking for 10 minutes at night.
Those small steps may seem simple, but if you continue every day, your English will slowly become stronger and more natural. Step 5. Start thinking in English.
And finally, step number 5, start thinking in English.
This is such a powerful habit for beginners. Many learners translate every sentence from their native language into English, and that makes speaking slower and more stressful.
Exactly. Instead, try to use simple English thoughts during your daily life.
For example, when you see a cup, think, "This is my cup." When you are walking outside, think, "The weather is nice today." When you are eating food, think, "I am having lunch."
These small English thoughts help train your brain to use English naturally without constant translation.
And the more you practice thinking in English, the more confident and fluent you will become over time.
Exactly. So remember, everyone, start simple, listen daily, speak without fear, practice consistently, and begin thinking in English little by little. These 5 steps can completely change your English learning journey. All right, everyone. Now it's time for a real-life English practice conversation. This part is very important because listening to simple conversations can help beginners understand natural English more easily. So, Julia, are you ready?
Of course, Jason. Let's have a simple daily conversation that beginners can practice at home.
Hi, Julia. How are you today?
Hi, Jason. I'm doing great, thank you. How about you?
I'm good too. So, what are you doing these days?
Well, these days I'm spending a lot of time practicing English and listening to podcasts. I also try to learn a few new words every day.
That sounds amazing. How often do you practice speaking English?
I practice every day, even if it is only for 20 minutes. Sometimes I speak to myself in English, and sometimes I read short stories aloud.
That's a very smart method. And what is the biggest challenge for you when learning English?
Honestly, sometimes I feel nervous when speaking English with other people, but I'm trying to become more confident little by little.
That's completely normal. Confidence grows with practice. And the important thing is that you never stop trying.
Exactly, and I believe every beginner can improve if they practice daily and stay patient.
Wonderful conversation, Julia. And for everyone listening right now, try practicing conversations like this at home. Simple daily English conversations can improve your speaking and listening skills much faster than you think. All right, everyone. Before we finish today's episode, let's talk about some common mistakes that many beginners make while learning English. Julia, I think this part can really help our listeners avoid bad learning habits.
Absolutely, Jason. And the first big mistake is being afraid of making mistakes. Many beginners stay silent because they want their English to sound perfect, but perfection should never stop you from practicing.
Exactly. Remember this: every mistake is a learning opportunity. The more you practice, the more confident and fluent you become.
Another common mistake is comparing yourself to other learners or fluent speakers online. Some people become discouraged because they think their progress is too slow.
Yes, but everyone learns at a different speed. Your English journey is personal, and small daily improvement is still real progress.
And here's another important one: translating every single word from your native language into English. This habit can make speaking slower and more stressful.
That's why beginners should try to think in simple English instead of translating everything in their minds.
Also, many learners quit too early because they do not see fast results. But learning English is like building a skill little by little every day.
Exactly. Be patient with yourself, practice consistently, and never give up. Even small steps every day can lead to big improvement in the future. Before we end today's episode, we want to give you a little motivation and confidence, because learning English is not only about vocabulary and grammar, it is also about believing in yourself.
That's absolutely true, Jason. And if you are a beginner listening to this right now, we want you to remember one very important thing. Every fluent English speaker you admire today was once a beginner too.
Exactly! Nobody starts speaking perfect English on the first day. Fluency is built slowly through daily practice, patience, and consistency.
Sometimes you may feel tired, frustrated, or embarrassed when you make mistakes, but please do not let those feelings stop you. Mistakes are part of the journey, and every small mistake helps you grow stronger.
And remember, you do not need to become perfect overnight. Even learning a few new words, understanding one new sentence, or speaking for 5 minutes today is still progress.
Yes, small daily improvement can create huge results over time. The important thing is to keep going, even on difficult days.
Learning English can open new opportunities, help you communicate with people around the world, improve your confidence, and even change your future.
So believe in yourself, trust the process, and never give up on your English journey, because step by step, day by day, you are becoming better and stronger.
And we truly believe that you can do it. All right, everyone, let's quickly review what we learned today. We talked about the biggest problems beginners face, the common mistakes that slow down improvement, and most importantly, the step-by-step method to learn English more effectively.
Yes, remember to start with simple English. Listen every day. Practice speaking without fear. Build a daily learning habit and slowly begin thinking in English.
And most importantly, be patient with yourself. Learning English is a journey, not a race. Small daily progress is much more important than trying to become perfect overnight.
Exactly. Stay consistent, keep practicing, and never lose confidence in yourself because every single step you take is bringing you closer to fluency.
That's absolutely right. Keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. All right, everyone, that's all for today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. We truly hope this step-by-step method helps you feel more confident and motivated in your English learning journey.
Yes, and if you enjoyed this episode and learned something useful today, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our future English learning podcasts.
Also, we would love to hear from you. Comment below and tell us, what is your biggest challenge when learning English?
And remember, practice a little every day, believe in yourself, and never give up on your dreams.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
Take care, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode.